Spider-Man 2 is not only a sequel that outdoes the original, but it's also a sequel that also makes you love it even more every time you watch it, and it's also one of the best superhero movies of all time. Hello guys, it's me, Future Filmmaker, now Fraser here once again. I'm continuing my collaboration with Anthony Jenkins with Spider-Man 2. Leading up to Spider-Man Homecoming coming out this July, and I am on the second one, and this is directed by Sam Raimi. It stars the same cast, including newcomers Alfred Molina and Donna Murphy. Now, the plot of this movie is when a failed nuclear fusion experiment results in an explosion that kills his wife, Dr. Otto Octavius is transformed into Dr. Octopus, a cyborg with deadly mental tentacles. Doc Ock blames Spider-Man for the accident and seeks revenge on him. And meanwhile, Spider-Man's alter ego Peter Parker faces fading powers of self-doubt and struggling with his everyday life. Complicating matters are his best friend Harry Osborn, hatred for Spider-Man, and his true love's sudden engagement to another man. And so he has to try and balance his life as Spider-Man and as Peter Parker. So after 2 years of fighting crime, his life has started to fall apart. Now, Spider-Man 2 is really good. Spider-Man 2, 2004, you had a lot of great movies. You had the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, you had Shrek 2, you had Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, you had a series of fortunate events, and you even had the underrated movie Ray Charles, if you don't know what I'm talking. But I feel like this movie was one of those movies that I really enjoyed from that year. And hey, I enjoy a lot of films Fast Forward, some that I hate, but I felt like this movie was just as great as the first one, but it also improved better than the first one. And I felt like that Sam Raimi really outdid himself with this film. First, let me talk about the main thing I want to talk about. Alfred Molina as Dr. Octopus was really great. He killed it as Dr. Octopus. I thought his performance was really good. He was very accurate to what how he was in the comics. And you see him and his wife. He loves his wife, and just that, I really think that was handled very well. I thought that was very well handled. I think it was well done. And I like the chemistry him and Donna Murphy has for the screen time she had. I thought they both were really amazing in it. And his performance was just so phenomenal. He was just badass. And when the birth of Doc Ock scene, when he gets his tentacles, when he gets the robotic tentacles, that felt like straight out of a horror movie. That felt like it was so dark and it was so intense. But that will only get better because and also Donna Murphy again. I really thought she was really good in the movie for the screen time she had. But let's talk about some other stuff. I love Tobey Maguire again as Spider-Man. I still think he's the best Spider-Man we've had because I'm not saying Garfield is, because Garfield was basically a douche, and I will keep saying that until I get to the Amazing Spider-Man 1, where I will review and rant on that. But trust me, we will get there. But honestly, I love his performance. You see him; he's trying to balance his life as he's going to college. He's a photographer and he's a superhero, and he gets fired and he gets late. That's Peter Parker. That's Spider-Man. He's trying to make time for all this stuff, but everything's not going according to plan, right? That's what I like. And Kirsten Dunst as Mary Jane Watson, I thought she was really good. I I love her in this movie, and and yeah, I will say that she is kind of a jerk to Peter, but I still liked her performance in this movie. I still think she was really good, and I liked the scenes with her and Maguire. They improved on the first one. James Franco as Harry Osborn was another great standout. I loved his performance. He wants to get back at Spider-Man for what happened to his father, and I think James Franco really does excel in the film. I think his performance is strong because it's just a great film, and every time Spider-Man's on screen is just awesome, and just it's real cool. And I also love J. Jonah Jameson, J.K. Simmons. He's really good in here again. I think he is fantastic. No one can beat him. You can't beat J. Jonah Jameson. He's so great. He is so funny. And there's a scene where he's trying to wear the Spider-Man suit. I was just laughing out loud. But also, you got Dylan Baker in here, really cool, as Dr. Kirk Connors. I also love, now, the landlord of his apartment, I'm like, really? The first couple of times, but I've grown to appreciate her more. So, I'll give her that. And William Dafoe does make a cameo at the end as a hallucination. And Dafoe came up with the idea during promotion for the first Spider-Man. And but I think the main standout is Rosemary Harris's May Parker. She was great. She was great. I like her. I really enjoy her performance. I thought that she brought an essence to Aunt May, especially in the monologue scene that she says, "I believe there's a hero out there." And I love that. I love that scene. And the scene when he saves him on the bank, where Spider-Man saves Aunt May on the bank, I thought that was really well handled. But let me talk about the music. The music in this movie is really good. I love Danny Elfman's score, and I like the soundtrack. It's a fun soundtrack, and for $200 million budget, the film effects look even better. Spider-Man flying, shooting the webs, that's just great. And and just the action in this movie looks cool. I love all the action scenes. The fights with Doc Ock and Spider-Man. And I think when Spider-Man's in action, it's really cool. I think he's trying, and I thought that was really cool. But what I also love is that they took inspiration from the comics, like Spider-Man No More. At the scene when Peter walks off and he gives up being Spider-Man, I thought that was really great. I thought that was something very, very amazing, and I love that the story of this movie is influenced by Superman 2, which also has Superman giving up his responsibilities, and I think that helped the story, and I just really do enjoy how the movie looks. And Spider-Man's costume looks even more amazing. It's so fantastic. I have to tell you, that is great. But my favorite part of this movie is when Spider-Man and Doc Ock have this amazing subway train fight, which is one of the best fights of all time. You see these two battling out, duking out, fighting each other. I thought that was just an amazing movie moment. It's one of the best action scenes in any comic book movie, in any superhero movie film, and in any movie in general. I love the fight. It was cool. It was great. I thought that it was handled very well, and again, the birth of Doc Ock felt like a horror movie, because Sam Raimi, he is known for old school horror. That was really cool. But again, I like this movie so much that I actually saw Spider-Man 2.1. They showed it on FX one time, and I watched 2.1 version, and it's different, but there's not a whole lot, but I really do think that Spider-Man 2 is a worthy sequel. It's one of the best sequels of all time. It's one of the best superhero movies of all time, along with X-Men 2, Batman Begins, Superman, and The Dark Knight. And just, it's really good. And just, if you haven't seen this movie, I definitely recommend it. It's one of the best movie sequels you could ever get to, and just the film is a masterpiece. And this movie will always hold a place in my heart, because Spider-Man 2 is pretty darn amazing, and I am going to give Spider-Man 2 an A+, and my JD Rainbow Seal of Approval. Definitely check this out. I would recommend you see Spider-Man Homecoming. It is a fun movie. And stay tuned next time, because I will be defending Spider-Man 3 in the next Spider-Man collaboration. Yes. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching this collaboration review part Anthony's channel. I'm very happy to be doing this. I can't wait to talk about Spider-Man 3, and I will see you guys later. And if you are on Anthony's channel, subscribe to me, and we can all have a good time. I'll see you guys.